Hello, my name is Rateel.
Hi, I'm Ariana Alexander-Sefre.
And today we're going to be talking about well-being.
Digital well-being.
Yeah. So before we start, I'm just going to put my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Ooh, what's that?
So basically, it's a card. You put it, for example, before you sleep, next to your bedside table. When you have a meeting or a podcast, you just click your phone and it automatically sets your phone to Do Not Disturb or sleep or work. So it's an easy reminder. So my name is Rateel, obviously. I'm the youngest Saudi founder and host of my own podcast, Rateel Alpha Talk. I started my podcast because I was like a person I'm really curious. So every time I go anywhere, I just don't sit down. I have to go roaming, asking questions. What's this? What's that? What's that? So my mom and everyone like, stop asking too much questions. It's none of your business. Just stop. So I decided to open a podcast where I ask questions in an official way and no one could tell me, mind your business, because it's a podcast. So I could ask all I want. So that's how I started it, honestly.
That's really fantastic.
Yeah.
I love what you do, and I love your work, and I love your energy as well.
Thank you.
It's really amazing.
Yeah. So tell us a bit about your hobbies. What do you do?
Yeah. So my name's Ariana. I'm a startup founder based in London. So my hobbies, I love music. Music is one of my biggest passions. I've always believed that musicians and artists are the world's natural healers. So I've spent my life listening to music from all over the world, and I now work in music as well, but also in digital well-being. So we deliver mental health tools through music. We work with amazing artists, and I guess it's a more artistic and creative way to look after your mental and emotional well-being.
Oh, that's really nice. Do you ever listen to music, for example, when you're on work or studying or when you're sleeping? Because some people open I'm not sure if this is really music, but relaxing sounds of nature. Do you do that? When do you use music?
Yeah, so I use music for specific intentional things. So I don't necessarily use music when I am studying or when I'm sleeping. Maybe sometimes I do if my brain is feeling very, sometimes when you're feeling quite anxious or stressed, it can help me kind of stop thinking about that and become distracted with the music. But to be honest, I like using music for something that's more intentional. So let's say I'm feeling quite sad about something. I will find a song that helps me process these
music
emotions.
Is like medicine.
Well, it is medicine. It really is, and the right kinds of music. So let's say I'm feeling very sad about something. I will find a song, not necessarily to make me feel happy again. It's not really about that, because all my emotions in my body, they're trying to get processed. So if I'm feeling sad, my body that's the reason why we cry, because it's our body processing the emotions. So if I'm feeling really sad about something specific, I might find some songs that help me sit and process these feelings, and then after I listen, I'll come out feeling a little bit lighter, a little bit like I've let go of some of that pain.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's kind of how I use music, and obviously I also use it to get energized.
Or usually when I'm getting ready.
But I'm getting ready, to feel kind of quite energetic.
Yeah.
So intentionally listening to the right music has been very helpful for me.
For me also, if I'm really bored and I'm I don't have anything to do, just open my favorite music.
Yeah.
It's just nice, or I open the music, but without the words, and I sing it like karaoke.
I love karaoke, yeah.
That really sounds usually bad, though.
No. Everybody can sing. Everyone can sing, because what's interesting? In a lot of societies, you have people who are the trained musicians, 0.1% of people, and then the rest are just listening and they think that they're not singers. But for thousands of years, people would come together and sing together, and it would be a way to kind of feel connected. So even if you don't think you're a good singer, you can still sing, because everyone can sing.
Yeah, I also sing in the shower a bit, like Rihanna.
I love that. I love it.
So yeah. So I have some, something we could share a story, for example, your backstory, or how you got into this, how did you get into this music and meditation and stuff. So do you want to start, or should I start?
Why don't you start?
Okay. So I have it in my notes because I wanted to
I understand that.
Thanks. So I think we need to go beyond screen time limits. So we need to shift the approach, okay? So I want to make a movement named Log Off the Drama, okay? And level up your connection. So I'm going to tell you a story. So when I started to become more popular, okay, I used to get hate comments, okay? And it filled, a negativity filled my comment. And I wanted to quit even the things I love, okay? And then my mom told me that, people they're just jealous, because most of the people that are putting hate comments are like teenagers, people my age, So she was like, they're jealous, teenagers don't know how to control their emotions. And then I questioned myself, why were people mean? Like, was my mom just like lying to like make me feel better about myself? Or was she actually saying the truth? I mean, she's my mom, so why would she lie? That's what I thought. So then I noticed that my DMs were filled with messages like, oh, I wish I had your confidence. How are you confident? How do you speak up? Because to really think about it, there aren't really people my age who like have a podcast or something. Every time I want to make friends from like podcasts, they're usually older. I don't really find any like friends or like people my age. So I told myself, what if my mom was right and the teenagers that are leaving hate comments are actually just jealous and they don't have emotional intelligence, like they don't know how to control their feelings? Because after all, it's hormones, people say. So then he wasn't controlling my time online, it was controlling myself. Same thing for the haters. I feel like the haters should control themselves. Instead of leaving hate comments, they should log off the drama. Like I say. So imagine if everyone had a little more IQ, everyone would, we would understand our own jealousy, anger, or sadness. Like, we'd understand our emotions. So it's preventing us from lashing and getting like mad from people online or in person, because their fights happen in person too. It's not only online. So learning the skill from a young age is crucial, since we're engaging with the online world at an early age. So my message is clear. We need to shift the focus. Unlock the confidence, not disconnect. So my brother, I have two brothers, okay? One's 11 and one's 8. So my 8-year-old brother, who was the youngest one, when, for example, I travel to the mom or here, or I travel anywhere for work, he's jealous, okay? So he says stupid stuff. Oh, well, you're stupid anyway. I don't know why anyone would want you. It's not because he actually hates me. It's just because he's jealous and he would want to be in my place. So I feel like if we start teaching them from an early and young age how to control their emotion, it would be amazing.
I think that is just so fantastic, and I really do, and I relate to so much of your story as well, even though I don't even know how much older, I think maybe 15 years older than you. I relate to so much of your story, and I think there's a bit about my background that's maybe there's some similarities. I used to do a lot of work in wellness and digital wellness. I saw that really, if you look at a lot of wellness practices, I think yoga, meditation, in the UK anyway, it's like all female, or all older, all female. And I didn't think anything of it. I thought, great, it's fine. And then the really sad part of the story is a few years ago, my younger brother, he lost his best friend to suicide, really sadly. So I don't know about Saudi Arabia, but in the UK, there is a bad male mental health epidemic.
Yes.
It's a systemic issue. So I ended up going and doing a lot of research. So I did a master's at Cambridge University, focusing on social innovation and male mental health. And one of the things that came up in a lot of my research was a lack of emotional literacy. So that's just like understanding what we feel and why we feel it. So, a lot of the times, especially when I was younger as well, I wouldn't know what I was feeling. I was overwhelmed. I didn't know if I was frustrated or jealous or angry or upset or heartbroken. I didn't know what it was. All I knew was that I felt overwhelmed and it would make me, just become a bit depressed. So one of the things that I started to believe is really important is helping people gain a better emotional literacy, because then when you're feeling overwhelmed, you can be like, okay, hold on a minute. I'm feeling frustrated, or I'm feeling envious. Envy is a good thing. Envy is a good thing because it means that we want the thing that person has. That's powerful, because that means that I can say, now I know what I want. It's not that person I'm upset at. It's the fact that I want that thing. Okay, so instead of channeling my energy at being annoyed at that person, I'm instead going to think, well, how do I go and get that? Or something similar to that for myself. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of young people, and actually people of all ages, not just young people, people of all ages have problems with emotional resilience, understanding their emotions, and I think a better awareness of emotional literacy can, really help.
About the part you said earlier about mental health, I feel like no one really talks about it because men are tough, they shouldn't cry, men are not allowed to cry. So I feel like no one really talks about it. And if, for example, I'm not sure where exactly in the world, but I was watching TikTok and I heard a guy, okay, he was maybe 20s and his mid-20s. He was talking about his little brother, not really little, like 16. Whenever he would cry, his mom says, well, guys don't cry. Like, she got mad at him for showing emotion. So the 16-year-old boy, he also died from suicide. So I feel like people should also talk about male mental health.
It's really, really important. And this is one of the things, I talk about male mental health as a systemic issue, because it's not just, there are cultural reasons, there are political reasons, there's social reasons why we have this epidemic. And unfortunately, it is resulting in a lot of, and not just young men, a lot of young people, especially young men, feeling like there's just no hope. So our body tells us the responses it needs to process emotions. In a very simple comparison, the way, a cat, the way it will like shake. And it's shaking because it's feeling a bit of stress and it's shaking its body. Our body does similar things when we're feeling sad, or if we're sad, we might cry. If we're angry, we might kind of get really tense up. So being able to release these emotions is very, very important. If we stop releasing the emotions, they all get trapped into our body. And actually, there's a lot of evidence that this can lead to certain physical problems, sort of autoimmune diseases and things like that, can be caused from just withholding stress in the body for many, many, many years and decades. Yeah. This is an issue where we're talking about it for a very short amount of time, but this is an issue that exists around the world and has existed for many, many, many decades, hundreds of years. So it's not a new issue. The thing that's new is that people are starting to talk about it, and it's uncomfortable for a lot of people to talk about it because it's, a lot of people just still don't understand it. But I think it's positive, the direction we're going, and we're able to talk about it because of our digital capabilities, sharing things on social media, so I think there's that's why it's so positive, the work that you're doing. You're setting a good example. And I think the point that you mentioned about envy, because it's true, I think when you're a, talented, vibrant person who's going out into the world and who is sharing your truth, you are going to attract people who feel envy. Now, everybody who goes and does the things, I would call it like your purpose. Yeah. Anybody who does that will attract people who feel envious. It's not because they feel angry at you. It's because they feel angry or upset that they haven't achieved the thing that they want to achieve. If they can do that, they will stop feeling any envy. Yeah. They will just be, relaxed.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really important message to share to people, that, envy is a good thing. It just means that there's something you want, you haven't yet achieved it. And, everybody can work towards something they want.
Exactly, yeah. So do you think meditation can help, release your emotions or make you feel better? Because the only meditation I know is the one, with relaxing music. So I don't really know. Can it help with emotions, maybe?
Meditation really, really helps. I think the problem is that meditation has started to be seen as this thing that you have to sit on a rock. Sit on like a rock in the middle of nowhere with your legs crossed.
Yeah, that's the only thing. It's stereotypes.
It's stereotypes, and it's not necessary, and that's a way that I meditate, is I go and find a nice forest or a park, and I just walk around with no music, no nothing, and I just listen to nature. I maybe observe beautiful flower. I do have other ways of, people have meditated for thousands of years just in their natural environment. You don't need to do it in a specific way. But the one thing I know is that when you find a way, meditation is just the art of finding stillness in your mind. I've got a quick metaphor if I can.
Yeah.
Imagine your mind is like the ocean. At the top of the ocean, you're in a little paddling boat. There's lots of little fish everywhere. The waves are tossing you backwards and forwards. And that's your mind on a day-to-day basis. All your thoughts, your to-do list, it's like, everywhere. Meditation is like taking an anchor to the very, very bottom of the ocean. The further down in the ocean you go, the more still it is. And guess what? The fish are bigger. And the fish represents, clarity of mind, big ideas, and a feeling of connectedness to what you want in your life. However you can get to that stillness of mind, whether it's music, whether it's walking in the park, whether it's just having a nice shower and singing, and then you come out feeling really clear, it's really important to do those things.
Yeah, I feel like people my age and alpha, or literally from ages maybe 10 to maybe 16, 15, I feel like they don't really show emotions properly. properly to families, because the families, they don't really, some of the families, alhamdulillah, my family is not like that, but some families, they don't allow their kids to express what they want, express their feelings. Usually they listen to the parents, they're not allowed to say anything. Or for example, when you're in arguments, only the parent talks, you're not allowed to give your feedback on it. So some teenagers, they just keep their emotions to themselves, and I feel like that's a problem. And I feel like some parents and families should allow their kids to talk, because like also in the future they'll do the same thing to their kids.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
So,
and then it will just keep on
keep on repeating and repeating. So I feel like this we need to like start telling parents that you should let your teenager like express themselves, you know, or they could express themselves from something they love. For example, they could take like a canvas, for example, paint. They love painting. They express their feelings in a drawing, for example. They express their feeling in literally anything you love.
No, exactly. And that's the thing, like when you're, do you know maybe a advanced concept, but do you know the concept of hyperplasticity in the brain?
I actually heard of that before.
So it's where your brain molds to new information. Like the way you learn a language, your brain will become, it's plastic. It kind of moves around, and then your brain neurons sit together to when you learn new things. So when you're a teenager up until about 25, your brain is learning new things all the time, and it's moving around at a really, really fast speed. So as a teenager, you end up liking things and then not liking it, you know, maybe a month later. Things change very rapidly. And I think a lot of parents maybe get confused and sometimes even quite upset, because they're like, my teenage daughter or son, they loved this 6 months ago and now they hate it. What's going on? And it's just because young people's brains are moving and evolving so quickly.
Exactly.
And I think that's a really important thing to understand as well, that it's fine. You know, if your teenager or child is, changing a lot, good. That means your brain is working healthily.
And I feel like when you're from the age of 6 or 7, I feel like you should allow your kids to try different things, okay? So when they grow up and time to study to college, okay, they pick something that they're sure they love. So it's not they pick something, for example, they never tried, and then they regret it a month later, and then they leave, and it's like a whole process. So I feel like they should try literally activities after school, like physical activities, mental activities, like everything. And I want to like start like what's it called, campaign?
A campaign.
Where like I teach the parents and also the kids to try everything. So when they're at the age where they start picking what they want to be, they know it's not hard. Because some people, they finish high school, they drop out, they're like, okay, what do I do now? I don't know really. Because when they're a kid, they didn't explore their stuff they could pick. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. No, and I think it is so important. And I think if families have the opportunity, and it doesn't, it's, a lot of these things you don't need to spend a lot of money on some of these things. You can, discover artwork online, you can go to free libraries, you can go and explore different parts of, your neighborhood and go to museums, stuff like that. So I think you're totally right. The more a young person can experience, the more likely they'll make good choices for themselves.
I agree. So it was really nice talking to you, and I definitely learned a lot. It was such a nice quick episode. Hopefully we should do more in the future.
I hope so.
It was really fun. So thank you guys for watching, and thank you too.
Thank you.